Hello and welcome to Placing Talent with Physemp. I'm your host, Paul Strubel. This new edition of Placing Talent, we are going to cover some of the things that we're working on with the website, specifically the AI job search tool that we've been implementing over the past couple weeks and kind of an expectation and timeline for that. And then we're also developing a new piece of the sales department, which is essentially offering a single ad purchase for clients with smaller needs. So we're going to dive into that, cover what those things are meant to do, and we'll kind of, talk about the different features and why we're going in the directions that we've chosen to go. So enjoy this episode of Placing Talent with Physemp. So where do we begin? Let's begin with the AI. As most of you are probably aware, companies are developing AI, either let's call them a concierge service, let's call them a chatbot, let's call them a search tool. Depending on your level of technical prowess, different sites with different budgets have different levels of capability when it comes to AI implementation right now. As you're probably aware, when you go to Meta, when you go to Google, some of these larger tech firms, there are built-in AI search functions that have a conversational element to them different from the previous search as you would, conventionally know it. And what we're doing here at Physemp is essentially building a job search specific AI that will feature our jobs, and we have to train it to do that. And so it's a powerful thing, but it does take time and development and programming in order to build something like this, which is why you don't see it with any of our competitors. It's not as simple as plugging in an AI from an existing tool like ChatGPT or like the Meta AIs that you'd see on Instagram or Facebook. When you build an AI that's specific for a company, you have to train those AIs to give proper responses. Now, most people are familiar with the chatbot, which essentially is something very basic and binary. When you go to a website, you might say, I'm interested in a job in, let's say finance. And it might say, are you interested in this state? What states are you interested in? You can say, I'm interested in these states. And then it might show you some opportunities. What we're developing and what the AI's capabilities are with the ability for us to train it is that we are going to have a conversational tool. So that will allow physicians to come to our site to have robust conversations beyond the basic search parameters that they've existed with up to this point. So the traditional search model is a physician might come to the site and say, I'm interested in pediatric jobs in Texas. And that might be the pediatrics, that might be Texas, and we could say, here are some opportunities and display a search result. With the AI, with the conversational tool, it might say, what other features are you interested in? Oh, work-life balance is important to me. The best salary opportunities, I want to see those. And then the jobs start to populate and it starts to have a conversation. If it becomes clear, one of, let's say the features that are interesting about those opportunities are work-life balance, the climate. Texas is a warm weather climate. It's a state income tax state. So the AI having the ability to think, having the ability to recommend other things says, we have a very similar opportunity in Phoenix, Arizona that offers more money and also meets all of your other qualifications. It's a warm weather climate, no state tax in Arizona. Whatever that may be, the AI has that ability to have those conversations and suggest a larger let's call them a larger pool of jobs that meet the requirements. Now, the other thing from our side and the benefit to our clients is we're going to we have the ability to read through and summarize these conversations and pass those along to recruiters. So we have the ability to not just narrowly suggest people and let's say, here's a pediatrician looking for jobs in Texas. Well, they also express interest in an opportunity in Arizona. So now we know both things. Now we can show them the highlights of that conversation and give our recruiters a more robust situation with the individual profile. So these are all things we're working on. We have, a pretty good idea of the timeline, but of course there's always delays and things when it comes to programming and getting things on the website and making it as good as we feel that it could be. We don't want to just roll out an expanded version of basic search and have it be a chatbot that doesn't really embody the brilliance of the AI and that conversational capability and the thinking capabilities that come with it. So that's on the horizon, but we're very excited about it, and we should be first to market in this industry with that. So Physemp is definitely the place to be. As far as some of the other things I mentioned, we have developed kind of a new sales portal, if you will. Our traditional model that we go to with clients is based for people with numerous ongoing needs. So if it's a hospital that always have a need, if it's a recruitment firm with ongoing needs, that is the typical client that we serve. Now, in a lot of cases, that's perfect for what they want. They might have a 100 ad package that's going to be ongoing. They might need access to a database and say, hey, yep, we've got a year-long subscription for you. It costs X amount. And then we move on that. And then you can renew that in a year's time. That's typically the way it's worked for the last 30 years. We do have a smaller subset of clients who have small needs and who strongly dislike that subscription model because they prefer to work with a single job in the short term. I don't need a year-long subscription. I'm just looking to post a job, one job right now. I want it to be filled in a month, 2 months, 3 months. We have that option now built into the website, and there's no conversational point between myself as a salesperson or the client base, which is usually our standard operating procedure. You might come to the site, give us a picture of your needs, and then I can talk to you about how we can best service you and suggest packages, and then you can choose which direction you want to go. With this, it's just going to be a page on the website where you can come, buy a single ad, write your job description, put in the specialties, states, salary information, and then it's a simple form. You pay for that. It's a 1-month purchase, and then you buy that, and it's done. And that there's no subscription, there's no ongoing thing. There's essentially the job will continue to run until you tell us to stop. There's a subscription in that respect, but there's no time limit like we typically do with the 1-year term on our normal subscriptions. So that's a new offering that we're bringing to market, and we think it's going to be important to a lot of clients that we really haven't been servicing in the last number of years. So you can do that for the physician side or the nursing allied health side, and that'll just be a simple process to go through and look at those jobs, purchase them as you need. So that's really where we're coming from right now with Physemp. We've got some great blogs up right now that will sort of are talking about different ways to network for physicians on our physician blogs. We've also got some really kind of good stuff on the recruiter blog about the changing atmosphere of, hey, 5 years ago, maybe job fairs were a really big deal to physician recruitment for hospitals and bringing people and residents into their mix. That has sort of disappeared from COVID and then, sort of the changes to the industry that COVID has brought about. So we are looking towards the future about the way that people are doing it. And we strongly feel that this AI tool that we're bringing to the table is going to facilitate a lot of those conversations that are currently missing from the marketplace. So it's a really great time to think about Physemp as we're getting into some of the future and bringing those things to the real world. So that's it for this episode. We've got to get back to work on bringing all this stuff to our clients and to the marketplace. We're excited about it, and we'll catch up with you next month. This is Placing Talent with Physemp. I'm your host, Paul Strubel, the head of sales and marketing here. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this podcast, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.